welcome Aaron. Aaron Spencer is going to be with us at the Spring Book Bash 2026, 2026, easy for me to say. And it's at on April 25th. Welcome, Aaron.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Tell us about your book.
So Imagine That. It's about what I feel believes makes a great dad. That's kind of why I wrote it. I wanted to put something out in the ecosystem that kind of spoke to the more positive narrative around fatherhood, what that consisted of, things of that nature. So that's really what Imagine Dad is all about. So kids in the book go on a field trip to the Imagine Dad factory, and while they're at the factory, they stop at these five different stations like Fun Station, Care Station, Hero Station, things like that, and they learn all these different characteristics and qualities of what it really takes to be a good dad. So I wrote it because it oftentimes, like as a dad, you kind of get seen like as a provider, protector. Like those are the two qualities that everyone knows. Like this dad, provider, protector, and it was
Hmm.
like there's so much more to being a dad. Like there's so much more that goes into it that I wanted to kind of share that, and I'll have that written. So one day my son grows up and says, "Okay, this is what all it takes to be a dad."
So, this is a children's book, so there's illustrations in it. Who did your illustrating?
Brittany Knighting. She was a resource I found. She's based out of Utah. She did a great job with the illustrations. Loved it. She worked really fast too, so it was a quick turnaround. So she did an amazing job.
Do you have more books on the horizon?
I plan on writing more. Yes, I do. Release date to be determined. So we don't have those out yet today, but I do plan on releasing at least two more.
Will they be children's books or a different genre?
Yeah, I plan on like finishing the series of the Imagine Family series, so like the Imagine Mom and then the Imagine Family kind of being like the end all for this particular
Nice.
series. But before I do that, I kind of want to get a publishing contract in place with a publishing house and go that route. This one particularly was self made, or I should say independent. But I
Mhm.
want to go with the more traditional route this time around.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what did you find with the indie publishing that made you think you want to go towards traditional?
Well, with my day job, I'm a senior data engineer, so my life unfortunately is not able to be like dedicated to me selling the book or being an author. So for me, it's work plus work. So it's like I don't really get the time to necessarily dedicate all the effort and energy into it that I would want to. And I feel
Mhm.
like a publisher would help me kind of push it out there, the marketing, things of that nature.
Interesting. So what is your family dynamic like then?
My family dynamic, so it's just me, my little one, and my lady. We're very close knit. I love being with my family, in terms of just us in here. And then as far as like my siblings and my mom and my dad, like we are sort of like very independent of each other, meaning like we don't necessarily have to call each other every day.
Mhm.
However, like like the love is never lost type of thing. So it's like we all kind of travel in the world and kind of be doing our own thing throughout the world. But one day you might pick up the phone, a week later goes by, say hi, things like that. So that's kind of how it goes.
And I see that you are a Detroit sports fan, at least two of
Yeah.
the sports.
Yes. Yes, I am. I'm a diehard Lions fan, born and raised in Detroit. So this is actually, speaking of family dynamic, comes from my dad. So like he was a huge Detroit Lions fan, and he kind of passed that down to me. And this was kind of my little creative way of kind of having some of that in my home.
Awesome. So, what is one thing I know you said that you wanna try your hand in traditional publishing.
Yes.
Where do you see your author career going?
So I kind of want to go to. I kind of want to go the film route, so books and animation. So book to film is kind of where I see this series particularly living, to where I feel like this book in and of itself, Imagine That, as far as the illustrations, the story, everything about it, I feel like can be on the big screen. So that's kind
Mhm.
of where I want to transition into. And that's where I kind of what I want to do with the entire series.
Nice. So you're working in the children's book realm
Yes.
and then obviously children's movies. Do you see yourself ever doing young adult, new adult, adult books or any of those
Yeah.
genres?
For sure, potentially. I think I have a very interesting story and an interesting background, so it'd probably be like a little biopic or something like that, based
Oh,
on like
nice.
my upbringing, things of that nature. So I definitely can see that happening, with a little bit of a twist to it. It's just not right today. I don't think necessarily that's kind of where my goal is. I kind of want to finish this objective. I mean, I'm a very goal oriented person, but yeah,
Mhm.
one day, definitely, I would say one day.
So tell us more about your day job. What is it that, because I noticed that there's all kinds of like acronyms in there. So tell us more about those.
Yeah, so as I mentioned already, I'm a senior data engineer. What that really consists of is like me typing on the keyboard all day, like different code, things of that nature, making sure like data goes from one place to the other place. That's kind of, in a nutshell, what it really consists of. It's a little bit more complex than that, but that's kind of what it really means.
So it's two very different worlds that
Yeah.
you're looking at, because you're looking on one hand at data, which seems to be one side of the brain, and then you've got creative, which is typically the other side.
Yep.
So it's just, is that where do you find the transition going from creative to data and back and forth? Do you find that an easy transition or is that more challenging?
I find it enjoyable, mainly because it's just two totally different realms, as you already mentioned, Mandy. Like it's totally different spaces. I'm not kind of going from data to more data things. Going from data to something that's a little bit more creative, something that causes me to kind of get out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, to like talking to people about the book, doing interviews, things of that nature. Not to say I'm not good at it, but it's also one of the things where it's like I have to put more energy into it, so that part of it I do enjoy. I do enjoy the creativity, coming up with different ideas. Like I think as an author, that's one of the greatest things is that you can write about anything that you put your mind to and create a great story out of it. So I like that aspect of it. And as far as like the day job, it's like, yeah, this is like the super technical side. This I will say the benefit of that though is like it causes me to be an engineer, whereas like I have to think through every small detail, and that
Mm.
also helps me with when writing the book, understanding, okay, who is it for, how am I going to try to market it, what's the plan, what's the rollout, things of that nature. I'm not going to say I'm perfect at it, but it does help in that regard.
Yeah, because engineers are very process driven, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
As I, as having been raised by an engineer, there was processes and procedures, and oh yeah,
They do matter. They do matter.
yes, they do, they do, and it certainly keeps the creative side um, challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it forces me to kind of get out of that mode of thinking to where it's like be more imaginative, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
you have to be more creative, for lack of better terms. It's just the fact that hey, this is going to cause you to think outside the box, right?
Yes.
So more unorthodox thinking, things of that nature, to spark that creativity. Like I will say, for the next book that I'm planning to develop, I have a little bit of writer's block in that, just because like it is because it's hard to really think about what the next steps are in
Hmm.
regard to like how getting more creative in that regard. So I will say that it does hinder in that sense, where it's like, all right, let me put the technical stuff away and like the process, those processes, let's just put those away and let's just think free, right? So
Well, and not only that, but it's not just a creative side. You're going to an entirely different demographic. You're going to children, so you have to
yeah,
really choose easier words rather than all of the technical stuff that you're probably used to.
yeah, 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 that's true too. Like you're trying to simplify things, make things a bit more common for the ordinary individual, even for the parents, right? Like parents don't want to pick up a children's book and read all the big words, in the dictionary. It's like that's not enjoyable. They don't want to read
Yes.
something that's very long. They don't want to read something that's boring. They want to get something that's creative, that's fun, that's going to keep their child's attention just for that 5 minutes of time or so. And that's kind of how I tried to write the book. Again,
Mhm.
this is my first one, so I there are things that now would I change for sure.
Mhm.
I feel like I could have made a little bit, things a little differently? Sure.
Mhm.
However, I'm still proud of it. I'm still happy about it. It came out great. So it's something that is going to live on perpetually. So I can't be, even more proud of it.
That's awesome, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. That'll be so much fun at the end of April. So, I will see you then. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on here and tell us a bit about your book. And I will see you at the end of April.
Sounds good. Thank you, Manny. Thank you for our interview. Appreciate it.
Thank you.